Test 1 2 test 1 2.
We are a destination cafe, and we offer craft food and beverages, meaning we make everything fresh on site when you order. And all of our food and our beverages are prepared and served by adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
And then lastly, just say the name. Tom? There you go. Enjoy. My favorite part of working at Jerry's Cafe is definitely interacting with friends I've met throughout the years and the espresso machine.
My co-founder Amy Philpott and I opened Jerry's Cafe for job opportunities. And a staggering statistic tells us that 80% of adults with disabilities are unemployed. I believe differently, and this is the place where our employees can work and feel proud and contribute and can see that they have value and purpose, and they are given the responsibility that anyone would be given in a job, and we expect nothing less than them to perform at their highest level. So we see great success in every single employee and their independence and their offerings and activities here at Jerry's Cafe.
The large, hot, white chocolate pumpkin pie with whipped cream, it is to die for. It is delicious. It's amazing. Well, the favorite part of working here is that I get to serve customers. I am a cashier. They understand to include people with us with exceptionalities.
I wanted to tell you, I've been watching you today. You're really good at your job. You're doing great.
I always like to serve customers. Customers go first.
We are super proud of our partnership with District 214. District 214 has been a supporter from the very beginning of our foundation, and several of the schools have done fundraising and helped us get our doors open to Jerry's Cafe. Proudly, we have 12 or 13 graduates from the District 214 schools who work at Jerry's Cafe as our active employees.
This is where we do our salad prep. This is where we make all the salads. And then over here is the sandwich line. This is where we make all of our sandwiches. I have worked here since day one. I love it here. I love my supportive team members, and I like serving customers. Here is one chicken Mediterranean trip salad.
We know that our community members have lots of choices, but we're hoping that you will come and choose Jerry's Cafe.
Thank you.
When you come inside and engage with our employees, you feel a sense of joy, and you will start your day feeling the best way that you can, with a joyful heart and knowing that Jerry's Cafe has provided you with delicious coffee, breakfast, or lunch.
All right, welcome to our 55th year of putting together an incredible community service project through our SOS class here at John Hersey High School. As you can see around me, it is organized chaos, but it is an incredible day for our students to serve our community by packaging and collecting food that's going to be going to local food pantries in our area to support those in need.
We're really happy to be able to do the food drive here at Hersey because it really just brings the whole school together, and we are able to help our community and bring the energy with everyone here.
Take it out.
For
the past, I would say about 2 months, we've been kind of working together with SOS, junior leaders, baseball, and we've all gathered together. We've done bag and tag with 12 different communities, and we've all come together, and it's really amazing to see the turnout. And then later on, we're going to be visiting 8 local food pantries, and it's really exciting. We're just thankful for everyone who's helped each other along the way. It's been really fun.
It's a team effort, but it's been so fun.
Prospect Marching Knights are heading to D.C.
We're in Washington, D.C.
Prospect Marching Knights were invited to travel to Washington, D.C. this year for Veterans Day. So we're taking the band out to our nation's capital. We're going to do some great tours of some of the monuments and the museums and a lot of the sites of D.C. But it all culminates with performances on Veterans Day. So we've been working really hard to prepare, and we're so excited for our students to have this opportunity. Throughout the trip, we had a few opportunities where veterans would actually see our group of students out and about and spoke to our students. So in addition to touring these places, our students were able to actually interact with a number of veterans over the course of the trip, which kind of made everything a little more real and genuine and authentic. So our first day in DC was really impactful and gave our students sort of a big picture overview of the city and some of the history, and really set the stage for our performance day coming up. So on Veterans Day, our morning started off with a performance at the Lincoln Memorial. There we were, right on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, facing the Washington Monument. Just a really special opportunity for our students to have a really great place to perform.
It was an honor to perform on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial with the PMK, where so much of America's history has taken place.
The experience was very impactful for me. It was a unique opportunity that I have never had before, and it was something that I will cherish for the rest of my life.
One of our students, Emily Pollock, was also asked to deliver a speech at the Lincoln Memorial.
I've always wanted to help people, so I'm going to serve my country. More specifically, I want to become an officer in the military.
Her speech was really wonderful and got a really great reception at the event. In fact, after the event was over, I had a number of veterans come track me down to tell me how great her speech was, and actually they wanted to meet her and take pictures with her because they were so moved by what she had to say.
My father served in the Navy, and so he instilled in me the value of serving and caring for our veterans and those who serve us. And so being able to thank them today and place medals around their shoulders and welcome them home was really impactful for me as well.
United States Air Force.
It was an honor to play at the World War II Memorial today. It was such an honor because music is a way to share emotions without using words.
Our performances in DC got a lot of really good responses. One of them, a story was told to me by one of our chaperones, that there was literally a Marine veteran who was at a performance at the Iwo Jima Memorial who was literally in tears watching the performance, and just expressed to our chaperone how much it meant to him that this group of teenagers from the Chicago area had come out there and was performing, and he was just really moved by it, and I thought that was just a really neat story to hear coming out of the performance. So any trip like this takes a lot of time and energy to put together. I feel really fortunate that our school was very supportive of this endeavor. We had a bunch of parents who traveled with us and did anything they could to make this a great experience for our students. I'm so glad we were able to bring our students to DC. Veterans Day seemed like a perfect time to bring them, and it really, just in the end, I think the whole trip turned out really, really great, and I'm so happy we were able to make it happen.
We're super excited to have the 9/11 Never Forget mobile exhibit here at Hersey High School. As the truck arrived, we had Hersey parents out front with some patriotic balloons. We had Hersey students lining the sidewalks. We had some, mini American flags like they would show on the honor flights. The spirit was high.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to the Stephen Siller Tunnel of Towers mobile exhibit. We have a 50-foot trailer, approximately 1,100 square feet exhibit. We travel our nation to commemorate the brave sacrifice of the firefighters, police officers that gave their life that day in the greatest rescue and recovery effort in our nation's history.
The reason we're here is at Hershey High School to come educate our youth on the happenings of that day, but also the happenings of the days after, and to let them know that it was a huge tragedy. It was the single largest loss of life day we've ever had. It was also the largest rescue we've ever had as well, but just all the good that has come from that tragic day. And they're going to learn things that they can't read about. They're going to hear stories that some have never been told, some have been told many times.
Steven Siller was one of the 343 firefighters that died that morning. He was getting off duty that morning. He was going to play golf with his older brothers, heard the plane strike, heard on the news that the plane struck the building, turned around, drove back to his firehouse, Squad 1, located in downtown Brooklyn. They had already been dispatched to the disaster. He got his gear, drove his own truck to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, where he donned 60 pounds of gear, ran 2.5 miles through the tunnel, mustered up with the rest of the firefighters, and gave his life that day, honoring his oath that he took to protect life and property.
So this is about remembering. So we want people to remember, obviously, for adults to remember and for the kids to learn. So we don't want this forgotten. It's not taught in most schools in America. And they have the privilege of talking to people who are there. You know, we can't talk to people who were in the Civil War or these other moments in American history, but they can. And I think that's pretty special. Thanks for having us, and this means more to us than you. This means a lot to these kids, and these kids would be great. They're very respectful. They listen. It's nice to see.
A special thanks, especially to the FDNY crew, to the Siller Foundation, to Soldiers Journey Home, to District 214, to all of Hershey. I'm grateful for everybody. A special shout out to Bill Dustin for the magic spirit. Special shout out to Chief Harris, Arlington Heights Police. The coolest part about this project was there's like a whole bunch of people that were on it and did it. It wouldn't have happened without a whole bunch of people. The list is just too long, and to me, that's actually a good thing to celebrate.
This is the Rolling Meadows Band alumni event, so we decided to get the band back together. This year being the 40th anniversary of the Jazz Meadows Festival, so it was kind of an opportunity to, hey, can we bring people back at homecoming? I had talked to some of the previous band directors, so that's Len King in the 70s, 80s, early 90s. We have Bill Jastrow and David Boggs from the 90s, and then of course Chris Booty, who retired several years ago. Those people set the foundation for everything that we have here.
I'm giving you a hug.
I'd have paid money to be here today. I really would have. It's one of those things that I'd pay money to be here. This is the band reunion where your closest friends were really at in high school. And so you're with your closest friends and regrouping after 40-something years and going, holy cow.
Yeah. Mr. King is the reason why I'm here today, not just at the school, but what I do in life. I owe everything to Mr. King. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have gone to college. And if I hadn't gone to college, who knows what I would be doing.
You know, some of the stuff that we're doing right now is like we never stop doing it, you know, just to be around these guys again and just hanging out. 40 years seems like a long time, but it seems like it's kind of a short time too, you know?
This is fantastic. I mean, I knew it was going to be good, but not this good. 52 of my actual students are in this group. I get a lot of feedback from them telling me how much they enjoyed the music program with me and how they appreciate music now for their life. That's really special because to know that they are still thinking about me and what we did here, it's just very satisfying.
Well, I flew back, and I'm glad I did, you know, especially to see Mr. King. He meant a lot to us. He just brought in the jazz, and I mean, we had world-class, you know, experience that most kids never would have had, you know, a real depth of exposure to great music because of Mr. King, so I'm glad I got to see him.
It's so fun to be back, though. I love it. My family's here. They're so excited.
So is my family.
Yeah.
My son's here. My husband's here. So
Yeah.
it's really great.
If you are on the fence of coming, debating about whether to come or not, you should definitely come next time. It feels like a long time ago, but in some ways, like you never left. Like I'm like, okay, we're gonna go march over to the stadium and we're gonna play for the football team. So yeah, okay.
to all the alumni who are coming here today. I mean, some people are traveling across the country. I know one of the directors came from Arizona. That's a testament to really what this event is about, and it's bringing people together through our shared love of music and how music has changed our lives and shaped who we are as humans.
Alumni, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good evening.
Fiorito, Heineman, Palmer, Rauch, Walker, and Kreutzer.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. For the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to call up Superintendent Dr. Scott Rowe.
All right, thank you and good evening, everyone. I'm excited to welcome this group of students up to join me to lead us in the pledge this evening. This group of students represents all 7 of our high schools, and they are members of the superintendent and president's student advisory group. So student voice and developing student leadership is vital in a high school district like ours, and they have represented their schools exceptionally well this year. We have a mixture of juniors and seniors from each of our high schools that I will invite to come over and introduce themselves, and then we'll start the pledge. So Paul, you want to come kick us off?
Hi, my name is Politzerevsky. I'm from Wheeling High School, and I'm a senior.
Hi, my name is F. Ozal. I'm a senior at Prospect High School.
Hi, my name is Osmar Leva. I'm a junior at Wheeling High School.
Hi, I'm Jack. I'm from Buffalo Grove High School, and I'm a junior.
Hi, I'm Sai Degala, and I'm from Vanguard School, and I'm a senior.
Hello, I'm Ramis, and I'm from Elk Grove. I'm a junior.
Hello, I'm William Corley, and I'm a junior at Hersey High School.
Hi, my name is Colin Watanuki, and I'm a senior at Hersey High School. Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Colin, I did not.
Thank you, students. Next is the approval of the agenda. Does any board member wish to remove anything from the consent agenda? Hearing none, can I have a first and a second to approve the agenda? There's been a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Palmer, Heineman, Dustling, Fiorito, Rauch, Walker, and Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the open and closed meeting minutes from April 10th, 2025. There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Fiorito, Rauk, Dessling, Heineman, Palmer, Walker, and Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 601.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is board recognition. I'll call up Mr. Maggi, please.
Good evening. Vice President Walker, would you please join us up on stage? While we celebrate the accomplishments of our outstanding students this evening, it's important to recognize that many of our students and staff are deeply committed to multiple activities in sports, and some may not be present tonight due to unavoidable scheduling conflicts that arise from their dedication to these pursuits. We'd ask that you please hold your applause until all the recipients of each award have been presented. First up, will Prospects Veronica Zenaida please come up? Veronica was named to the Illinois High School Association All-State Academic Team, an honor given to the top 13 male and 13 female student athletes in the state. She excels in the classroom with a 4.54 GPA. On the track and in cross country, Veronica has led her teams to 5 IHSA state trophies, including a cross country team state championship in 2022 and a track and field team state championship in 2024. Individually, she has earned 6 All-State medals, including 2-time All-State in cross country and 4-time All-State in track and field, as well as being part of the 4x800 meter relay state championship team 3 times. Congratulations, Veronica and Coach Pete Wittermuth. Will Deanna Vergen from Hersey please join us on stage? Hersey High School senior Deanna Vergen received All-State recognition for the 2nd year in a row during the Illinois Congressional Debate Association State Finals. Deanna is a 4-year veteran and co-captain of the Hersey debate team. The All-State team is composed of the top 10 students in Illinois as determined by the number of Best Speaker nominations received over the course of 5 months. There are over 600 students who compete for this prestigious honor, and Deanna is only one of 10 to be named to the All-State team. Congratulations, Deanna and Coach Tom Smith. Will Prospect student John Bazula please come up? Unable to attend are Prospect students Max Harganen and Brendan Ziegenhorn. With over 1 million students taking the ACT each year, earning a perfect composite score of 36 places these students among the top academic performers in the nation. Achieved by less than 1% of test takers annually, this rare accomplishment is a testament to their exceptional academic ability, dedication, and perseverance. This accomplishment marks the beginning of what we are confident will be a future filled with continued success and remarkable achievements. Congratulations to John, Max, and Brendan. Alex, okay, perfect. Perfect. Will the Illinois High School Dance Festival students please line up? On March 5th, dancers from across the state auditioned for this prestigious Illinois State Dance Festival. 40 troupe performers performances auditioned, and 15 were selected to compete at the state level. Of these 15, we are proud to announce that several schools had dancers chosen to compete in the state showcase at Riverside Brookfield High School on April 5th. The Student Choreography State Showcase features the strongest student choreography in the state of Illinois. From Buffalo Grove High School for Trill, choreographed by seniors Kyla Carrison and Dawn Park, Alex Anagasakos, close, Isabella Cufaro, Emily Dulaney, Lacey Gord, Sammy Kosnoff, Katie Mason, Dawn Park. Unable to attend this evening are Kyla Carrison, Molly Fitzsimmons, Lydia Gunn, Victoria Ruiz, and Danny Zanini. Congratulations to the Buffalo Grove Dance Team and their sponsors, Michelle Carrison and Hannah Basilini. From Hersey for Never Break the Chain, choreographed by senior Brooke Andre. First up, Brooke Andre. Hannah Stolfus. Annabelle Thompson. Lynette Velez. Unable to attend this evening are Sophia Hammer, Mackenzie Podlin, Isabel Hinman, Jillian Jacob, Zoe Collada, Maya McCall, Sadie Nelson, Taylor Pierce, Jordan Rudabush, Sadie Talbot, Isabella Variano, and Michaela Weintraub. Congratulations to the Hersey Dance Team and their sponsor, Christine Widdell. From Prospect for Smooth Criminal, choreographed by junior Sophie Nunez, senior Mia Spatek, and junior Zara Taneva. Apologies. First up, Emily Limanauka. Lucy Newman. Kelly Ninnis. Sophie Nunes. Lindsay Reiser. Natalie Schneider. Mia Spotek. Zara Taneva. And unable to join us this evening are Emma Zagaroff, Sloan Figueroa, and Eva Lapis. Congratulations to the Prospect Dance Team and the directors Melanie Monick and Nicole Stoltz. From Rolling Meadows for Insipid, choreographed by senior Haley Couric and junior Mia Marchetti. Brianna Perez, are you here this evening? Okay. Unable to attend from Rolling Meadows, Tessa Baruta, Avery Gapsis, Mario Jackman, Haley Couric, Lexi Lang, Mia Marchetti, Vanessa Nowak, and Bella Petterman. Congratulations to the Rolling Meadows dance team and their sponsor, Christina Vari. From Wheeling High School for Illuminate, choreographed by sophomore Jenna Key. Olivia Batko, Jenna Key, Sophia Lucas, Vianza Polina, Poli Sharevsky, and unable to attend this evening are Ariana Marazao, Rochelle Baluma, Elena Costello, and Emma Schinbach. Congratulations to the Wheeling Dance Team and their sponsor, Samantha Zaban. Will the DECA students please line up? In Illinois, there are 55 DECA Association of Marketing student chapters with over 3,000 members. The Illinois State DECA competition was held from March 2nd to March 4th this year. The following students were named state champions. From John Hersey High School, Tia Shaw and Sydney Voiku for Entrepreneurship Team Event. Cullen Wanutki and Faith Wright, who is unable to be here tonight, for Travel and Tourism Team Event. From Prospect High School, Brody Anderson for Entrepreneurship Individual Series. Matthew Falk and Sebastian Parks for Hospitality Services Team Decision Making. Alex Steika for Quick Service Restaurant Management Series and Hospitality and Tourism Professional Selling. From Rolling Meadows High School, Yashwant Charakuri for Business Services Marketing. Congratulations, DECA students and sponsors Dan Vesper, Andrea Ishtark, Chad Freshley, and Joe Nugent. Congratulations. Scholastic Art and Writing Award winners, please line up. The Scholastic Art and Writing Awards are the nation's longest running and most prestigious recognition program for creative teens for drawing, painting, photography, and mixed media. Each March, regional awards are determined by a panel of jurors who look for work that exemplifies the program's core values: originality, technical skill, and the emergence of a personal voice or vision. Entries are judged blindly without information about the student's age, gender, ethnicity, or hometown by some of the foremost figures in the visual and literary arts. Tonight, we are proud to recognize the following students for receiving Illinois Regional Awards. Silver Key Award winners, Bianca Lang, Emilia Lukianuk, Jude Ayala and Tiffany Suh were not able to join us this evening. Gold Key Award winners, Victoria Gervasi, unable to attend, Charlotte Wind. Gold Key, Silver Key, and Visionary Award winner, Madison Osland. In addition to her Gold and Silver Key Awards, Madison was honored with the Visionary Award at the SSE show on April 13th. This is the top recognition at the state level, awarded to young artists whose work demonstrates exceptional conceptual depth and innovation. The Visionary Award celebrates those who push the boundaries of artistic expression, conveying unique and inspiring ideas through their chosen medium, process, or narrative. Congratulations, Prospect students and teachers, and teacher Lee Christofferson. The 2025 Illinois State Bar Association High School State Mock Trial Invitational was held on March 15th and 16th at Lincoln Land Community College in Springfield, Illinois. 51 teams with over 500 students participated in the ISBA State Championship. We are proud to recognize the following students for the outstanding performances. From John Hersey High School, Charlie Balachandran, outstanding presentation as a mock trial witness. Heidi Fritz, outstanding presentation as a mock trial witness. Turak Shaw, outstanding presentation as a mock trial attorney. From Rolling Meadows High School, Stella Butler, outstanding presentation as a mock trial witness. Matthew Pachanka, outstanding presentation as a mock trial attorney. Harrison Swaim, outstanding presentation as a mock trial attorney. Congratulations, Hersey and Rolling Meadows students and sponsors Jody Blazik and Sean Ratcliffe. The Rolling Meadows High School Winter Color Guard had a standout season in the Midwest Color Guard circuit. They delivered their best performance at the state championship, capturing the SRA Chepansky division title by just 0.06 points, their second consecutive championship win. As a result, they've been promoted to the SAA division for the 2026 season. Amelia Aguirre. Heidi Barrera Garcia. Alexis Bochat. Just the one. Sage Bogan. Genevieve Bourne. Matt Breho. Corey Cintron. Emily Cully. Leah Draginis. Keilani Flores. Maria Grazia Tan Regalado. Jasmine Taylor. Oli Zabriskie. Fabian Perez. Unable to attend this evening are Grace Manola, Emily Pollock, Jasmine Cortez Vallejo, and Ryan Villiger. Congratulations, Rolling Meadows students and Coach Tiffany Ferguson. Will our College Board National Recognition Program scholars please line up to be recognized? The College Board National Recognition Program recognizes outstanding students in 5 national recognition programs, which include the National African American Recognition Program, National First Generation Recognition Program, National Hispanic Recognition Program, National Indigenous Recognition Program, and National Rural and Small Town Recognition Program. Students are considered for this recognition if their GPA is 3.5 or higher, and they score in the top 10% in their state on the PSAT or earn a score of 3 or higher on 2 or more AP exams by their junior year. We are recognizing 4 schools this evening, and the remaining 2 schools will be recognized at a later board meeting. From Elk Grove High School, Amber Damien. Zariella Miles. Jack Para. Orion Patel. Diego Ramos. Omar Solomon. Kira Vasquez. Max Wolaschek. Unable to attend this evening, Kalea O'Brien, Iva Ristak, Maria Smith, Spencer Tuiana, Amy Patel, Mitri Patel, Artur Pilney, and Stella Ann Waters. Elk Grove, we'll take a photo. Next up will be Hersey High School. From Hersey, Evan Gross. Elizabeth Heydrich. Liv Pelig. Deanna Vergen. Olivia Woglowski. Maya Widner. Jacqueline Watalik. And unable to attend this evening, Natalie Zuber, Marina Topolova, Gabrielle Dudas, Sophia Johnson, Olivia Mahola, Salvatore Marabati, Maxim Maralaev, Dominic Popero, Eva Schreikik, and Gabrielle Venegas. Pause for the photo. Next up is Prospect High School. First up is Noah Alanis. Julian Dugan. Alexis Gotanis. Nardi Jimenez. Alexandra Kuzak. Amelia Maslowski. Tirth Patel. George Petrov. Megan Tuleo. Olivar Vega. Unable to attend this evening are Daniel Valky, Victoria Yachenev, Caitlin Bay, Bartosz Trevich, Sean DeLuga, Boris Dimitrov, Emilia Krashovka, Victoria Kruki, Augustus Lapis, Adam Lukowski, Alexander Martinez, Alexis Mutier and Hapa, Ria Patel, Mia Raylon, Jonathan Soriano, and Oliver Wittek. From Wheeling High School, we have Adrian Alvarez. Rogelio Cisneros. Ariana Ellis. Damian Ferraru. Ariel Losner. Scarlett Patricio. Unable to attend this evening are Jennifer Dawson, Sarah Demirovic, Gabrielle Griffin, Emma Lawrence. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no, wait, where are you? Oh, my. I'm so sorry, Polly. Polly Shavesky, give it up. Student advisory. I was in a meeting with her before the meeting, so I apologize, Polly. Sorry. Gabrielle Griffin, Emma Lawrence, Dana Patino Faruski, Kaylee Rivas, Ariana Stalaska, Andy Zumba, Marianne Abbas, Hunter Adams, Alan Aguilar, Yahir Aguilar, Emmanuel Dona, Miguel Gonzalez, Jeanette Gravis, Alexander Herrera, Eduardo Lagunes, Erdi Gabriel Latoga, Sandra Popa, Jacob Rapala, Omar Rodriguez, Katrina Ubiate, and Kathleen Vinn were not able to be here this evening. Wheeling High School. We'll now be recognizing our National Merit Program winners. The National Merit Scholarship Program is an annual nationwide academic competition for recognition and scholarship. About 1.6 million juniors from approximately 22,000 high schools annually enter the National Merit Scholarship Competition through the preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. The high-scoring students in each state, less than 1% of U.S. high school seniors, are designated as National Merit Finalists. The Stephen D. Berry Award of Excellence is named in honor of a former District 214 superintendent. Dr. Berry impacted the lives of thousands of students through his nearly 40 years in education. The medallion, given to our National Merit Finalists, measures lifetime learning, recognizes dedication to study and sacrifice of free time, recognizes parental support and encouragement, and acknowledges their future academic and leadership potential. Will the following National Merit Finalists please come up when I call your name? Unable to attend from Buffalo Grove, Ethan Chow, Artur Belagaliev, and Anthony Safofna. From Elk Grove, Olivia Brito. Unable to attend, Kenneth Ahn and Jacob Podgorny. From Hersey, Nicholas Georgakopoulos. Deanna Vergen. Owen Wade. From Prospect, Anna Lizama. Liam McKenna. James Morath. Efe Ozlap. Eleanor Roseanne. Landon Wanibo. Elliot Dunn. And Victoria Kirky was unable to attend this evening. From Rolling Meadows High School, Tej Pratapati. Tehasvi Pratapati. Congratulations to our National Merit Scholarship finalists. Buffalo Grove's cheer team, please line up. Joining us from Buffalo Grove's cheer team this evening is Angelina Bachu, Maya Cordell, Sofia Gagliano, Juliana Magliano, Mackenzie Matsuda, Kai Mawela, Sienna McCone. Elias Mendoza. Belle Nagy. Carly Normally. Melissa Rios. Caitlin Sadowski. Benjamin Chaps. Maddie Wong. Ifru Zeddy. Due to tryouts and other activities this evening, several coaches and the following students were not able to be here tonight, including David Cardoso, Bodie Wold, Michael Blaca, Emily Carranza, Gennaro Graciano, Ethan LeBron, Pamela Pomerulu, and Connor Schlachter. Tonight, we are honoring our competitive cheerleading team from Buffalo Grove High School for their efforts at the IHSA State Championship in Bloomington. For perspective, this is a cheer program that has accomplished the following over the past 14 years. 14 top 10 finishes, 13 top 5 finishes, 8 state trophies, and 4 state championships. This year, they won their 8th state trophy with their second place finish at the IHSA state meet. Additionally, Angelina Bachu and Carly Normally were also named to the All-State cheer team. Congratulations, Buffalo Grove cheerleading team and coaches Carson McEwen, Matthew Mayer, Jeffrey Siegel, and Jacqueline Zergerbel. Congratulations.
I'm going to introduce Millie Palmer. She'll have some closing thoughts.
Wow. It's a full auditorium. And you know, the kids that were honored here tonight will be doing this for a few board meetings. It's always so incredible to hear the achievements of our students, from academics that you think that kid couldn't possibly have gotten all of those things, through to the athletics, to the fine arts, our student athletes and performers and dedicated professionals go above and beyond the effort level of so many of us. These are our future leaders. These are our community leaders. These are the people that'll run our businesses, the people that'll run our country. They spend countless hours devoting their efforts, their time, their dedication. They listen to their coaches, and they work so hard for what they have achieved. I'd like to have us all give them one last round of applause. I'm just blown away by what we saw here and heard here tonight. But you know, that time and effort takes more than the effort of the student. It takes the effort of the parents, the friends, the family, the guardians, the grandparents. It's a support network. So if you are here tonight to watch one of your students, I'd like you to stand up as well. I know for a fact that there's a lot of snacks, a lot of laundry, a lot of driving around, a lot of cheering on the sideline at home, a lot of pep talks, a lot of extra effort that come out of you to help them achieve what they have achieved. So if you could please rise to be recognized. Thank you for all your time and effort and support of these amazing students. I really appreciate it. And on behalf of the Board of Education, we know that they couldn't have done it without you.
So this concludes the student recognition portion of the meeting, and we are going to take a little recess here and continue our meeting. And later on in our meeting, we're going to recognize 3 retiring board members. But I thought you should know that we're losing 3 great people, but I want to recognize them right here. So Ms. Palmer, Ms. Rauch, and Mr. Walker, could you please stand? Thank you for your dedication and commitment to public education. Thank you. We are in recess. Thank you. Okay, we have reconvened from the theater with student recognition. Next on the agenda is public comments, and no one has signed up. So then we will move to the superintendent's report. Dr. Rowe.
All right, thank you. You know, I have a little bit of a different twist this evening for the superintendent report. I actually want to highlight some work that's ongoing in the district that is very exciting. So, cue up the presentation. We have been working on you know, generative AI is almost 2 years old, about 2 years old, and it has really taken the world by storm and is only going faster and faster as the days go on. I want to share with you a little bit about what we've been doing, what some of our great teacher leaders have been doing to prepare our system, our schools, our staff, and then ultimately our students for a world that will most definitely be impacted, if not defined, by generative AI. And I'll take you back to something I've shown a number of times. We saw this on opening day when Dr. Daggett was here. This concept of today's rate of change is the slowest that we will experience for the rest of our lives. And that rate of change and how quickly generative AI has taken hold in society, the chart on front of you is the length of time that it took each of these very, very famous, very popular platforms to reach 100 million users. You know, Netflix, it's a part of our daily lives at this point, took 10 years to have 100 million users. Instagram, 2.5 years. ChatGPT, it took 2 months. Just to put into perspective the rate of change and how quickly people are jumping on. And then obviously you approved our strategic plan the last time we were here, so I think it's only appropriate not only to notice that in your agenda this evening, our strategic planning goals are tagged with each of the agenda items, thanks to Mrs. Keys for figuring out how to do that, but also our aspirational beliefs, and I've targeted agility is non-negotiable, and this is the primary place where we're going to have to be agile and change with the demands that face us in society. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Katie Page and Tim Koziak, and then ultimately Dr. Budzinski for what's going on in the world of AI in District 214.
Artificial intelligence is already changing the way teachers teach and students learn.
One school in the northwest suburbs is really embracing AI in its curriculum. CBS 2's Noel Brennan shows us what students are learning in Buffalo Grove.
Hello. The best teachers connect.
I love it.
With students.
Last block. Oh, reminds me, man. I know. Hello.
At Buffalo Grove High School.
Hello, Tiff. How are you?
Tim Koziak
Good.
connects from the first day to the last.
Literally last class of their senior year. So it's bittersweet, a lot of emotions for many of them as they're wrapping up all 4 years. And they get to do it here in our Education Academy class. Grab a screwdriver, please.
The seniors in Mr. Koziak's class hope to be teachers themselves someday.
Are you ready?
This past semester,
Ready, set, go.
they've been learning to handle a new tool. This exercise
Come on.
is just a metaphor for artificial intelligence.
3, 4, 5. It took 6 of you to get how many in? 3. And I got an 11. It's a tool, but you need to learn how to use that tool. Has anybody here heard of ChatGPT 4.0?
The teachers of the future,
I'll type in the full one for that.
like Andy Goons, experiment with an AI chatbot that can help them teach.
I am using ChatGPT to create a 45-minute lesson plan. It spits out a whole lesson plan with the different parts of a lesson.
Lesson plans are just the start.
Yeah, I think it can be really useful when it comes to things because it allows you to just quickly generate ideas.
It's going to change everything.
But even if AI can teach, there's something about a teacher you just can't replace.
AI can't replace a relationship.
And like just being a teacher is creating relationships with the students.
And you have made me a better teacher. I'm about to get emotional.
If a teacher can't find the words, AI can.
Can you give me some parting words to inspire them as they're going to be future teachers?
As you stand on the brink of a new chapter, remember that you began your high school journey in a unique way, remotely, adapting to challenges that no other generation of students has faced before you. This resilience and adaptability are the very qualities that will make you exceptional teachers. The world awaits your contributions, and I believe in your ability to make a difference. I hope this helps inspire them.
A little AI assist to make one last connection.
Take the next few minutes. Again, stand up, relax, and enjoy your time here as we wrap up.
Noel Brennan, CBS 2 News.
It was sweet to see the emotion in their faces there at the end. Thank you, Noel.
I'm loud. I just sounded like I was on. There, now I'm on. So I'm Katie Page. Thank you for having me. Let me get my notes here just so I've got them. So that was spring of 2023. So here we are sitting 2 full years later, spring of 2025, and Buffalo Grove set us on this path of AI. So at the beginning of this year, we had staff writing their very first prompts in ChatGPT. Now at BG, their staff was already very well versed in this, but across the rest of the district, still very new, even to today, still very new. We moved a little bit forward into the school year after lots and lots of professional development and organic change across PLCs and staff showing staff. We landed on using Gemini for all of our staff. We have the free version. It integrates seamlessly across all of our Google Workspace, which is fantastic. But staff were using it so much by about, I want to say November. I'd have to ask Chris exactly when we did this. But they were running out of tokens. So those of you that are new to generative AI, as you start to use it, you only get a certain amount of asks per day. And then you're working on your lesson plan and you hit enter and you're waiting for it to tell you something wonderful. And it says, sorry, come back tomorrow. And so staff were like, we need the paid version of this. We're running out of tokens. So we have about 380 staff now on a pilot using the premium version. And once they started using it and all of their colleagues saw what that was doing, now we're getting more and more and more requests for the paid version. Staff are still using ChatGPT as well as the free version, so they're using both so that they've got kind of more tokens in a day. And then where we are now, lots of staff, I would say most staff that I run into are using generative AI at least weekly, and students. And we're looking forward to what this is going to look like in the next school year. We have an Innovation and Change Committee that's going to be starting with some of the board members here are going to be on, which is great. And we're going to build capacity in the buildings for all of the teachers, the cool things they're doing with generative AI, they can share with each other, and it will continue to grow in that way. So we're looking forward to that. Moving on. There we go. So I'm a physics teacher by nature, and I really love data. So I'm new to this position, instructional technology, and as I started to meet with staff this year, I kept track. 30 people on this morning, professional development virtual. I sat with 3 English teachers at Elk Grove, and I just kept track on a spreadsheet. And as of this morning, I was at 1,032 staff contacts as of today. And that's just me. There's so much going on in the buildings that it doesn't represent really all of what's happening with professional development and talk around AI in education. We do this through professional development sessions in the morning. I have open office hours, in-building PD strands, and then also industry leaders like Apple, of course, because we're iPad and MacBook district, but even like ClassKick, DFIT, all of these platforms are pushing in to give some PD to our staff as well. One of the first things I did this year was start a website for staff so they had a one-stop shop to come and find things that they might need. So they can go there to get policies or AI tools, any of the PD that's been offered, we make sure that it gets loaded there. And lots of how-to videos for them to take a look at as well. And then another new thing is a newsletter where I can share out and highlight some of the staff in the district that are really using generative AI, like we saw in Tim's class, and then other staff can read about it and reach out to see how they can use it as well. As far as parents in the community, I worked with District 25, and I was at the Arlington Heights Memorial Library providing some information to parents. This was back in the fall. We had lots and lots of great questions from the parents that showed up there. And looking to the future, next year we're looking to implement some sort of like a parent academy for probably freshmen or new students to the district to introduce them to our instructional technology, generative AI, excuse me, that sort of thing. So that's pending for the future. We are also then seeing now students using generative AI in the classroom. I was actually in a classroom at Prospect today where students were using ChatGPT to generate images of a Rube Goldberg machine. And then they were using Keynote to animate those images, which is kind of fun. For staff that need extra support with this, I have a grab-and-go content for them on the website as well. They can just take slide decks to use right in their classroom to discuss the ethics, if that's what they want to tackle. We have a support, an action, and a resource for them. So here's an example in the middle. And then additionally, with the help of Paul Fikes and some other staff around the district, we have updated the digital literacy course for students to include all of these things. And with that, Tim's going to talk about calculators.
Imagine what it was like to be a math teacher back when they introduced calculators in the classroom. It's usually how I start out the PD sessions. Think of the tension that they felt, that students aren't going to know how to do math, that students are going to cheat, that students are going to be distracted. And yet I'm currently a parent of 2 high school students, and I've had to pay over $100 for each of them to have a graphing calculator because it's a requirement in their class because they can do exponentially more with that tool. That's why I'm passionate about AI. It's not because it's a cool tech tool. It's because it's changing our culture, it's changing the workforce, and it's changing education. And as Katie has said, I am so enthusiastic and encouraged by our staff across the district. At Buffalo Grove High School, we've had 2 years of PD strands in the morning, and it has been the most requested PD strand that we have run. And staff are leaning in. They are excited to learn about how to use it, the history of it, creating, sharing stories and experiences, figuring out best practices that they can use with students. And our students are doing awesome things. And as an education teacher, they're vulnerable, they're transparent, and they tell me all about how they're using it. And we have students that are creating, designing, but even recently, AP students are creating their own study guides and their own practice tests using their own notes from their classes so that they can study and prepare. For the ACT test, they were creating their own passages to read and questions for them to study from. We have EL students who are using it to translate passages. I had a young lady who's using it, and as she puts her writing into AI, it cranks it back so she can learn better vocabulary as an EL student. We had entrepreneurial students who today they did presentations, but in Karen Roberts' class, they were dreaming up a business and used to have to sketch it, but now they can put a prompt in AI and generate a visual of a storefront for the store that they want to design. I can go on, and I know time is limited, but I want to highlight two moments that have been very powerful. We know that our population's changing. We have more EL students in the district, and that number's increasing. And good EL instruction involves 2 things. 1, it's your content, and 2, it is the acquisition of language skills. And those 2 need to be married together in an EL classroom. And one strategy for EL education is to incorporate images into your lessons so that non-native speakers can use vocabulary and images to bring those things together. Our EL coordinator, Ann Wyatt, came up to me and said, I like to introduce this poem in my class, and usually I'll take a list of vocabulary terms, and then I'll go online, I'll find pictures, and I'll create a whole presentation so that I can share those terms with my students. And in just moments, we put those vocab terms in a prompt, and we created a collage that incorporated all those vocabulary terms for her students, from Clorox bleach to clothespins to an auger to beets to a forsythia bush on the left side so that her students can incorporate those vocab terms in those images. The way we can become efficient and leverage this tool to support our students is remarkable. And I'm even more excited about what's to come. As a teacher, I would love to be able to customize and personalize learning for every student. If I were a math teacher, or as I was a physics teacher, if I can have a unique problem for every one of my students based on their interests, that would be amazing. But when you have 30 kids in a class and you have 5 classes, that's 150 word problems to write to make it unique for each. And yet, I created a spreadsheet of a group of students using best practice, giving each student a number, not their last name, not their personal information, but incorporating their hobbies, vacation ideas, foods that they like. And you could take it a step further, their reading ability, their math proficiencies and deficiencies, and collect a picture of that student. And I attached it and I asked it to create a word problem for each student, 12 equals 6x, that incorporates that student's likes and interests. And you only see a glimpse of 2 problems, but it generated 28 problems, every one of them unique to each student. And that's where I get excited, and that is still on the horizon where we can personalize learning for our students. And so I'm excited, and I'm thrilled to have an administration that supports us, both at the building level and here today. So thank you. Yes.
How long did it take you to get those 150 questions?
Seconds. A matter of seconds. It's fascinating.
Good evening, Chris Budzinski, Tech Director. I've been around school technology for a little over 20 years, and I'm going to stand here tonight and say this is probably one of the most exciting things I've experienced. Maybe second to the concept of one-to-one computing for students, just because of the transformational nature of what that did for learning. This is so exciting for me as a professional because of the opportunities that this creates for students and for staff, my team included. We will be taking advantage of artificial intelligence in our work as well. But beside that, I'm here to talk a little bit about we got your back, we're here to support. That's what we do in technology. That's why we love our jobs. A little bit about what we'll continue to work with in terms of supporting students. We've had a big focus this year on creating safe learning environments. We've made some modifications to some filtering, some things like that to help kind of keep those guardrails in place while students are really learning appropriate use of artificial intelligence in their learning, making sure that all students have access to the appropriate AI tools that they would need. Maybe keep some of those other tools out that maybe we don't want to have yet, those sorts of things. One of the biggest ones for us is keeping an eye on data privacy practices. A handful of years ago, the state of Illinois passed a law that we all thought was going to be incredibly annoying, SOPA, all the data privacy stuff. It's still annoying, but it's monumentally impacting our work here because it's forcing our ed tech vendors to be open and honest about how they handle student data. And that's so important to what we do as ed tech professionals. So we're keeping a real close eye on that. Some of the ongoing work that's going to be big in our not so distant future is continuing the conversations about what does it mean to be a safe student online? What can we as a district do to help kind of overwatch what's happening on our devices, just to ensure that students are in a safe place while they're learning. So that's some of our focus in supporting students. In terms of supporting staff, these are the fun ones for me. We want to be a part of that fostering a mindset of failing forward. Try things, try new things, give it a shot. I hear so many staff members say, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to break it. Well, I'm here to say I don't think you can, and if you do, we're going to be right there with you to help support and figure out how to fix it, whatever it is. So that being said, this technology has really only been available for a couple of years. We're not the experts in it either. We're all learning this together. And myself and my team, we're all committing to standing right along with our students and our staff to learn through this, right along with them to ensure that we're keeping up with their needs as those needs change. And then some of the ongoing work with that is encouraging and assisting with our staff developing their own AI tools. There's some really neat things that are available right now for our staff where they can take an example would be their own documents about their own course notes for one of their courses. Put that into a chat bot of their own that only they can use, only they can see, and start asking it questions. And to make something like that for a teacher could take about 5 minutes. And it's their content, their questions, their chat bot. And we want to help support that development too. So that's where we're seeing our role in supporting all of the greatness that comes from artificial intelligence. And we love the work that's happening already. And again, the technology is here to support it. So we're loving it so far, and we can't wait to see where this goes. So with that, we take any questions you might have or comments.
Board members, questions?
We're waiting for the question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Of course.
Go ahead.
First of all, thank you very much for coming and presenting to us. I think it's great to see a cross-team effort, everything from district to each building. I think it's excellent that building resources, because, you know, it's easy to advertise and say, go do it, but unless you provide the tools, it really doesn't go forward. I saw the video about a year ago, and when I saw it, I'm in science, and part of my current role is actually involving AI and more on the machine learning. And I worry, obviously, bringing this to the classroom, right? I mean, we want to make sure that our students think critically and they can validate the information. But I truly think that, no pun intended, here in the video, you hit the nail on the head there, that when you have what you can do with it, and as long as that we are educating our students, there's a time and a place for everything. Just like Andy said in the video, right? There's a time and a place to develop relationships, and you can maximize that relationship building while you're using this AI tool to do other things. So I'm really excited. This is the generative large language model. That's great. Please keep in mind the machine learning. We want those engineers. We want those STEM students, and so I'd like to see that incorporated somewhere down the line, and I challenge you to do that. But thank you so much. Really excited. I'm sorry, I didn't necessarily have a question. I guess I could ask, do we have a plan for the machine learning yet? And I realize this is just early stages, right? And we saw what it did in 2 months, but have we thought about incorporating, let's take physics, for example?
Yeah, no, we haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay,
But I'm
okay.
glad that you brought it up. Yeah, for sure.
And you know what, I think one of the beauties of being in education and with technology evolving so quickly, challenging the students to do it and bring it to the classroom. I mean, they have the answers because they have the time to go and search this information that's at their fingertips, so much more than we do as we're doing some of the other things that we still do manually. So, but I would challenge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Dessling?
You know, one of the things, I guess about turn this on. Speaking of technology, thanks. You know, one of the things that is critical in my mind, and Katie, you mentioned it, you went to Arlington Heights Library. You know, if you look back as a parent, what did your student come home with, particularly my age or most of us here? Some books or a calculator or something like that. It was difficult to understand that. Now parents are hearing about AI and the things, some are negative, some are positive, but I don't think there's a real understanding, and I think it's critical that we get the parents educated, or at least put out the opportunity to educate the parents so they understand what their students are seeing. Because this is way over bringing the book home and you know, working with pencil and paper, you know. So I really would appreciate getting involved with whatever you're doing to educate parents. That would be delightful. Thank you.
For sure. There's a parent academy on deck, just not quite ready to go, but for sure it is at the front of our thinking. We have added some language to the registration materials for incoming freshmen that just states very generally that we have that we're using generative AI along with other instructional technologies such as iPad, and they're just acknowledging that they understand that it's a step one, right? And
it's a step, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the plan, is to invite them in as
Great.
learning partners.
Thank you.
Ms. Palmer?
Bill, can I add to that just real quickly?
Sure.
As a parent of 2 high school students, even a step beyond just talking to parents about how students are using it, I've been using it to help tutor my own kids for content that I don't know. And how exciting would it be to teach our parents how to put a prompt in to help support their students at home? Because I have helped my daughter with stuff that I truly have no idea, and I was able to go on AI and simplify a concept that she wanted to learn about, and then together we were able to learn it together using AI. It was really a cool experience.
Thank you. Thank you.
So at my firm, we use AI daily. Everyone at the firm uses it. And some of it is just if there's a tricky piece of communication and you're trying to send a message using a particular tone, you can draft your prompt to say, being friendly but firm, convey this message, and it'll give you samples of language. It helps us to draft and to get our thoughts together. It is not a replacement for the actual, what do I want to say, how do I want to say it? And I think that's one of the problems. People think of AI as a replacement for human competencies, and it really isn't. It's a tool to look at what you want to do and how you want to do it and what your options are out there very quickly and very easily. And sometimes we'll write prompts like 4 or 5 different ways to see what the differentiations are. So I really appreciate that you're using it in with our students, or teaching at least some of our students about it. I'd like to see it go further into every area of study, because eventually the way we learn everything is through human language, right? Even our math problems, we have to understand concepts, they have to be described to us. And so, not every kid's going to understand the same way, and you could manipulate the prompts or teach them how to put a prompt in to get an answer in language they understand. So really love that it's happening in district. Thank you.
Well, you given a, oh, go ahead.
I have 2 questions. Tim, you kind of mentioned how it's kind of changing the way teachers teach. So my first question is, what about students and how they learn? Is there any thought process as to how we are going to transition kids to how they learn? Because the dynamic seems to be changing, just major changes. So how do we get the kids to follow the same path that the teachers are?
Well, in terms of learning, I think I go back to the calculator concept. The tension is, what are some foundational skills that we need to know before we launch into that calculator? And when we talk about writing skills and understanding the tone, you can make the case that in English we still need to know some basics before we can actually see what's generated by AI to determine if this is correct. And our English teachers have been doing a tremendous job for 2 years at BG, wrestling with how do we navigate this, because just like the calculator disrupted math and physics, it has somewhat disrupted English and writing, but they're navigating it amazingly well, and they're able to isolate certain skills, but then open it up to use the tool where students are writing, they're putting it in AI, and they're able to get the feedback and use it. I think students are seeing the efficiency and the creativity, and dare I say, I think most students recognize when it's appropriate. My students have given me the feedback that they really appreciate it when I say, for this activity, I encourage you to use AI. And for this one, I don't want you to. And they said, Coase, I really like that, because then I know when it's appropriate and when it's not. And so we're all navigating, figuring out those best practices. And I think the learning for teachers is figuring out what are those foundational skills, but then once we unpack that, we're able to do exponentially more, just like we can with the graphing calculator.
Okay, and then my second question is the middle schools and the elementary schools. I mean, you have a situation where if the high schools are starting to use it, now you got a whole subset of students coming into our buildings that probably are not familiar with AI, and how do we get them up to speed?
So luckily, in my running around the area, because I was new to the role, like collecting information from 211 and going all over the place, I've met some great people that are in similar roles to Chris, and I'm now invited to the area tech meetings, and they're tech directors, but really at the middle schools and elementary schools, they're kind of me plus Chris plus Paul, that they do all of the things. So I go to those meetings and we share all of these things. So it's great. So now we have 214 and District 25 and District 21 and District 23, and so we're all sitting at the same table discussing what's going on. So yeah, we're trying to make sure that they want to make sure their students are prepared. The problem that I will mention, though, is that ChatGPT and also Google Gemini have their terms of agreement is 13 and up. So really, kids shouldn't be using the generative AI platforms in the middle school and elementary school. So they're just talking about like how they're getting their staff on board.
Mr. Koziak kind of started to dip into where I was going to go with the point following Ms. Palmer. The initial concern of plagiarism and policy and that conversation. I just wanted to share, Mr. Koziak was able to set up an opportunity for me to go today actually to view how an English classroom at BG is using, it's called Lockdown Browser. And what it does basically is it takes the student, the teacher has the ability to control a writing sample, a writing assignment, and through that browser they aren't able to leave that Google Doc or whatever their writing prompt is. So it creates a really like a secure testing environment for them to create their thought, and the positive outcomes of it really are there's no distraction. Cell phones are in the caddy on the wall already, and the student is locked in instead of I have this homework assignment due next period or next. They don't have the ability to do anything else. So they're getting more accomplished with the help of the teacher in the room. The teacher was raving about the impact that she's seen. But I use that example just to share that struggle, that the rumble that they've been having of how do we use this and not be afraid of it. There are some protections that we have in place. And then from a policy standpoint, I believe we are well positioned with what's already in place in terms of plagiarism and how that's managed to welcome this technology in and not be afraid of it. And the other point I wanted to make is, we talk about this fail forward mentality, and it's a luxury for us to be able to sit at this table and for me to sit in this seat because this conversation came when Tim Koziak pulled me aside one day at BG and says, hey, I've got an idea. And I've got this going. I want to build the staff PD session with Jill and Jeff at BG, and let's see where it goes. And it went so well. Then our next conversation was, okay, we've got Katie Page joining the team in instructional tech, who's doing a phenomenal job. But let's scale this across the district. And they've taken it, and with Chris's help on the back end side, they've just run with it. And this is the type of innovation and driving forward that we need that's happening in great collaboration with teachers and administrators across buildings. And while I don't think anyone can say they're a leader in artificial intelligence, I think we're pretty close to the top of the wave in education, but we're never going to be a leader because it's going way faster than any of us can keep up with. And I'm not sure we want to be so far out in front. We want to kind of be able to watch it happen and figure out what works for us. So kudos to you. I appreciate you all coming and sharing your work with us tonight. And I'm really grateful for your leadership and what you're bringing to the district. So thank you.
Mr. Heineman?
Could you just give me a surface view of privacy and security?
From the student user or from a back-end side?
Yes.
So as I mentioned, one of the neat things that we're required to do with any sort of system where we would share any sort of private data is actually have agreements in place with those organizations, and those agreements control how they store data, use data, or frankly don't use data is actually what the law says. And what happens to the data when we say they should no longer have it. And so all of that's documented in those agreements from kind of a district kind of legal perspective. Now, one of the really nice things about our work with Google Gemini, and because we are so heavily involved with, call it the Google sphere, if you will, all things Google that our students use, the entirety of our district's work in Gemini is contained within a bubble of just District 214 stuff.
That's what I was hoping to hear.
So at no point in time is anything that we put into Gemini used by, it's never reviewed by a human being. It's never used to expand Gemini's large language model. it stays entirely within our bubble. And that's not something that we can even change. That's not an option for us. Now, once you step outside of kind of those four walls of Google and use ChatGPT and OpenAI as the example, we don't have licenses for that platform. They're available, but at an additional cost. But even with the free versions of ChatGPT, there's settings that we've encouraged all of our staff to set so that their information that they put into the model is not used to expand the model, to help with that privacy. So we're really taking those steps to really keep a close eye on what's the data that's being used, how is it being used, where does it go? And like Tim said, up front, there's a lot of things that even our staff can do. You don't have to put a list of student names into Gen AI. Give them each a number. Have a piece of paper with their numbers to match them up when the information comes back out. So we can do those things to help keep ourselves nice and safe.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Wait, I have a
go
last
ahead.
thought. So after listening to all this, and I love the use of AI, I think that it would behoove the district sooner rather than later to come up with our guardrails and our protocols that we're expecting staff to follow as well as students to follow, and to have those someplace where everyone can see them, so that if and when an issue happens in the future, we know we can point to that and say, this was part of our code of conduct, this was, so in code of conduct, for example, just plagiarism through AI. I mean, adding things in, it's a project to comb through everything. Well, actually, it isn't much of a project, because you could take it all, you could upload it to AI, and you could say, add AI guardrails to all of this, please, and it'll spit it right on back out. But, I mean, I think it needs to be published. It needs to be published so that everyone is familiar with what those rules are.
So we have guidelines. At the beginning of the year, I had probably about 5 to 10 staff from each building join me in helping to write a guide book to AI. We were following CPS's model of what they have. And then after many discussions, we pared it down to just guidelines, because we realized pretty quickly it was a fool's game to try to start to say specific things about specific things, because everything is moving so quickly. So we do have District 214 AI guidelines published on the website that I created this year that all staff have seen, and it's been made available to them. There are also, I have all sorts of things that they can just pull from the website to post in their classroom. Like Tim was talking about, like a stoplight. Green is okay, yellow, you better ask, red, absolutely no AI. Like those kinds of things as well.
And the word plagiarism, would like just to take a quick moment, because that's a big one that comes up when you talk about AI. And as I mentioned, our English department, and Scott alluded to, the division head at BG and myself early on, I spent a lot of hours in her office wrestling through this. In her first year, there were so many issues that they were challenged with plagiarism as students were using the tool and so forth. The problem with a lot of the AI detectors is they're using AI to try and detect AI.
Oh.
And so there are not a lot of AI detectors that are phenomenal. And then you get into some real gray area. However, what Scott got to see today, our English division had said to me 2 weeks ago with a smile on her face after 2 years, we've had no issues this year. Because as English teachers are using what's called the lockdown browser, as Scott was saying, they can't take pictures, they can't do anything, they're locked into the prompt, and they can't use anything else as a resource. And they're more actively engaged because they're doing it in class. They truly, those that are using it, have had no issues. And it's a simple setup, and we're excited to continue to train staff. And it's taken some time to figure out those best practices, but in terms of that word, they actually are getting to a point where there's a solution, and it's been a really good, smooth solution.
Okay.
I just have one quick question. You mentioned that you are planning to discuss this with parents, or at least try to educate parents. I know that when we do, at the beginning of the year, the curriculum day where everyone gets to follow the student's schedule, would there be consideration to hosting something like this, like we do either with our student services program or something? Because, I mean, this is significant and new, and I'm sure that it's a concern of most parents who don't understand it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I mean, anytime we could get in front of parents to make it more clear, I would rather the communication come right from us, from teachers and from us as a district than their kid just coming home and saying, you know.
Right, right. And I
for
mean,
sure.
students can even present at that so they can say what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rowe, and thank you, staff. So moving on, we have item 9, the consent agenda. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, please call the roll.
Dessling,
Yes.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Heineman,
Aye.
Palmer,
Aye.
Rauk,
Aye.
Walker,
Yes.
and Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Item 10.11, motion and a second to approve, please.
So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Walker,
Yes.
Palmer,
Aye.
Dessling,
Yes.
Fiorito,
Yes.
Heineman,
Aye.
Rauk,
Aye.
and Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Motion and a second, please, for 10.12.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Palmer,
Aye.
Rauk,
Aye.
Dessling,
Yes.
Fiorito,
Yes.
Heineman,
Aye.
Walker,
Yes.
and Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Motion and a second for 10.13, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any updates, Dr. Rowe or Mr. Keeley, for this?
No, this is just the request for the non-bargain staff in the food service department. The increase is there before you. I do respectfully request the board approve the new salary schedule for the 25-26 school year as presented.
Discussion, board members? Call the roll.
Palmer,
Aye.
Fiorito,
Yes.
Dessling,
Yes.
Heineman,
Aye.
Rauk,
Aye.
Walker,
Yes.
and Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. 10.21, please. Motion and a second.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion? Call the roll.
Walker,
Yes.
Palmer,
Aye.
Dessling,
Yes.
Fiorito,
Yes.
Heineman,
Aye.
Rauk,
Aye.
and Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Motion and a second, please, for 10.31.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll.
Heineman,
Aye.
Fiorito,
Yes.
Dessling,
Yes.
Palmer,
Aye.
Rauk,
Aye.
Walker,
Yes.
and Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is board member updates. I've asked the board, we're going to do something a little different this evening, and ask them to forego their updates to recognize 3 board members who will be, this will be their last meeting. I'm trying not to cry. Yeah, Sunday night, I'm sitting at home and I'm watching The Sound of Music. And it brought back so many memories of when I was a kid in Catholic school that all the Dominican nuns had us learn all the songs from The Sound of Music. So I'm gayfully singing along, and there's the song about climb every mountain. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow until you find your dream. Lenny, Millie, and Andrea, there's been some mountains that you've climbed in your board tenure here. And crossing that stream was kind of difficult at times. And I don't know if your Board of Education tenure was your rainbow, but I hope it was your dream.
we were not alone in that. We know
No.
that. So, you know, we all faced it. We all are better for it. And I didn't practice any of the songs, but if you want to sing.
Say, do you want me to sing?
I'm willing to work on a quick dance routine with the board members.
So, my Sound of Music, I've got more to that, but anyway, but your commitment and dedication to public education has not gone unnoticed. And someone who has been around for a while, I've seen a lot of board members come and go. And I see how hard that you all have worked to make this district the premier district. And so I've asked the board members who are still staying as you're leaving to give a little update, a little thank you. And I'd like to start with Mr. Dustling.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
You're up,
gosh.
Bill.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, he's going up.
Yeah, whatever you want, Bill. Come on.
I'm sensing a roast, but I'm not sure.
Now it is. Cool. Andrea Rauch, 7 years ago, she and her family, husband JJ, son John, son Josh, moved into our neighborhood. Matter of fact, she lives right across the street from me. Shortly after moving in, Andrea and a couple of ladies decided that we needed a block party. And they arranged it. Games for all the adults and children. Everybody brought food. Nighttime movies under the stars. Music. It was a great event. And it continues every year. When a 214 board member decided not to run for re-election, I thought of Andrea and her ability to organize the block party with great flair and thought she would be a good person for the board. She was organized, she was friendly, she was conscientious, she was intelligent, she was involved in research and development and was a testing manager for her firm. She also had a son, John, who was entering high school, which was good, and another son, Josh, who would soon follow, and I think Josh is just about done. I asked if she was interested in running for the board, and she was shocked. She thought about it for a while and decided that she would run. I introduced her to the other board members. They liked her as a candidate, and she was elected to the board. She has been an outstanding member of the board for the past 4 years. It was not easy for her. She attended all the meetings. She attended all of the activities of both of her sons. She had a job that she had to do that required many hours, so it was not that easy. As a board member, she has always focused on how to make things better for the students and staff. She took extra time to meet and understand the staff in all operations and always had penetrating questions to better understand things. She worked hard and to understand how to do things better than they were being done. Due to her recent promotion at her company with expanded responsibilities, she decided that she would not have the time to devote as a board member and would not run for re-election. Andrea, thank you for your board service. We will miss you, but you'll be across the street, and I will see you, and your husband, JJ, and your sons, and we'll remain friends. Thank you.
Mr. Heineman.
I'm going to sit here.
Oh, okay.
I hope I can make this quick. I get to recognize Lenny Walker. After 8 years of service on the board, Lenny is stepping away from the board to pursue some important personal goals. And while he might say he's just a simple man, Those of us who have worked alongside him know that simplicity, in Lenny's case, has always meant clarity, honesty, and heart. Lenny didn't come here to make headlines or to chase accolades. He came to do the work, the quiet, steady work that keeps schools strong and communities grounded. Whether it was advocating for students who needed a second chance or making sure every decision kept kids at the center, Lenny brought his values to the table. He spoke plainly, but he always spoke the truth. And when he listened, he made people feel heard. In a world that can get complicated, Lenny reminded us of the power of keeping things simple. Put the students first, treat people with respect, do what's right, even when no one's watching. Thanks for showing us that integrity doesn't need a spotlight. Thank you, Lenny.
Mr. Fiorito? Okay.
All right, I have Millie. Okay, so the seven of us that sit up there, none of us are experts on education. In fact, none of us have really worked in education with the exception of maybe Alva. You got an engineer, a data scientist, attorney, a couple sales guy, another guy who also was in the military, and both of you guys also were professional entrepreneurs. And then there's Millie. My old district, District 26, we had a lawyer on the board for 4 years. And we didn't have many legal issues, but every now and then he would throw out some ideas and some thoughts from his perspective. And it was always very interesting. And with District 214, it's a district that, is almost 10 times the size of my former district. And there are certain times where we do have issues going on. And when we have those issues, it's always interesting to have somebody who has the perspective from the legal side. And I can tell you personally that there's been times where Millie interjected some legalese into the conversation, which added value, and sometimes they went way over our heads. I mean, a lot of times I'd write it down and just bring it back to my wife and said, she said this, does this make sense to you? But there were so many times that Millie just pretty much said something to think about from her perspective and her expertise, her skill. And I can say honestly, there's been times where I've kind of changed my thoughts on some of the things that was being said because I started thinking of it from what Millie mentioned. And that is really important, is that sometimes it gets lost that all these people that sit up here, we're not experts on education, but we do bring things to the table. And Millie brought a lot to the table when it came to the legal perspective. That's number one. Number two, there's one part of the job that is the most difficult part of our job. And it doesn't happen in this room, it happens in that room. And that is student discipline. And so often, we have the decision that we have to make which impacts people's lives. And the one thing I could say about Millie and Andrea and Alva is that during those conversations, they all wear the mom's hat. The hat I don't wear, and none of you guys do either. And so often, I would look at the three of you and see your thoughts, because most often, the parent that was in that room representing the student whose life we were going to drastically impact is usually the mom. And there was many times where the three of you, specifically Millie, you showed your care and concern for people that you didn't even know. And it showed that besides a board member, you're a tremendous mom, because you truly cared about the situation we were in, and you felt empathy toward the people that were facing that decision. So the contributions you have made as a school board member have been phenomenal, but the contributions you make as a role model, as a mom, are even more, in my opinion. So Millie, thank you for everything you've done for District 214, and thank you what you've done for the rest of the community. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna add my 2 cents, and I'm gonna go right down the row here. Andrea, I want to thank you for the intentionality that you bring behind your questions and your focus on how data supports the directions and decisions being made. I always tried to predict them, and I didn't get to work with you long enough to be able to, but you've challenged me in a productive and positive way that has made me better and helped our board find consistency and process and focus. You get the question master title, without a doubt. And I say that with the most positive intent. Thank you for pushing us and having high standards for the district to aspire to meet. Most importantly, thank you for being a great advocate for the district and all that you do. Millie, I want to thank you for bringing your full self to this team. Your passion for students and families, as Frank said, is evident, and the pride that you have shown from your experience as a parent to a board member was quite evident. And you positively wore that on your sleeves with your emotions, and I respect that. Your passion for the operations side of our work and desire for the renewal of our buildings to take priority has been impactful. My favorite of the discussions is easily the one surrounding portable restrooms. You've been a wonderful advocate for the district, and through your stories, you have brought this team into seeing the good in all that we encounter, and I appreciate that in you. Lenny, as Mark said, to put it simply, because you say it, you're a simple guy. But you're more than that. You're a leader. From your time at Wheeling and the PTC to your involvement in the arts and the boardroom, you've been a tremendous advocate for our district, the student experience, and leading the way in doing what is right because it is right. You are a tremendous leader in all aspects of life, and I know that I am better for knowing and working with you, and you will be sorely missed in this team. You have helped this board see through a lens that at times it hasn't had, and has made us better as a team for it. You don't always have something to say, but when you do, it's worth listening to. It's impactful and has changed the direction of our decision-making on more than 10 occasions and making us better. So thank you for your contributions to the board and district. I'm extremely grateful to have had the chance to work with all 3 of you. And I have a little something to wrap up the last part of my comment. And I saved Lenny for last because it ties to something that he said that we joke about all the time. It's so true. Like a turtle on a fence post, we are the district we are because we had help along the way to get there. You've all helped push us when we needed it and provided the direction to ensure our actions align with our community's values. And I hope that when you look back on your contributions to our success, you do so with a sense of pride. So, it's not her last board meeting, but the great Linda Keys continues in her crafty and creative ways when I approached her and said, we got to do something with a turtle on a fence post. And so, this turtle on a fence post will serve as our reminder that when we need help from wonderful people who care and accomplish our goals, help is just around the corner. And all of you, in some way, shape, or form, contribute to getting the 214 turtle on top of the fence post in all the right ways. But I thank you, and your contributions will be remembered for years to come. I'm grateful for all of you, and so grateful for the time that I had with you, and hopefully we'll stay connected, and you'll be active in our school community.
So we have a parting gift. So Lenny, Frank, and Bill, you want to hand your person the parting gift, please?
Thanks so much. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. You mean awesome.
You can open it. I'll let you.
Oh, this is super cool.
You want to hold it up?
Thank you.
And what does it say, Lenny?
This says our name on it, Lenny Walker, District 214, Board of Education, with appreciation and dedication and leadership, for your dedication and leadership. Thank you guys
Just a
very
small
much.
gift. Okay. So having recognized our retiring board members, we have a small gift for those who are going to be new board members. So Millie, would you like to start off?
I do. Mary Kay. Oops. Mary Kay, I am so thrilled that you are going to be on the Board of Education here at High School District 214. The Board of Ed is a special place, and you are a special gal. You've done so much already for the community. I was reading some of the things today, and they're really too numerous to go into, but you have worked ceaselessly, tirelessly for our community and for the betterment of our children's lives. And I love that you're going to be on this board doing that work. It makes leaving the board is difficult. It was a difficult decision to not run again. Knowing that such good board members are going to be taking our seats makes it so much easier. I started my board journey at Mimi Cooper's office. I was innocently enjoying a cheese spread at one of her firm's open houses when I looked around and I was surrounded by members of the Board of Ed as they were hunting for people to run. And I got somehow bamboozled into saying, sure. And it was a great decision. I know that your decision to run was also a great one. Working with my fellow board members has been unbelievable. Your integrity, your honesty, your commitment to others in the face of somewhat public adversaries at times and belittling comments, and sometimes just seeing the great things like tonight. It's been terrific. But Mary Kay, I have 4 things that I think you should do on the board. Are you ready? Keep them safe. The safety and well-being of our staff members and our students cannot be underestimated as a key feature. The Board of Ed and our administration has to do everything in their power to keep our students and our staff members safe at all times. Keep your actions student-centered. Let that be your North Star, asking for everything we do, whether it'll benefit the students, whether it'll be good for them in the long run and good for them now, whether that's one student or 12,000 plus students. Remember, education is for the educators. They're good at it. They have lots of professional designations, they do lots of training. And what we can do is encourage them to try things and to fail forward, and to provide them with guidance and encouragement along the way. Embrace your stewardship. You are a steward of the public trust. There's money that we're stewards of from our taxpayers. There's the efforts of our staff members. There's the time and the efforts and the trust our students and families are putting in your hands. Be a good steward. You're going to do a great job. All right, I got a little gift.
Okay, no opening until everybody gets their swag, okay? Lenny.
I wrote a few words to keep it simple because there's
Because you're a simple guy.
well, there's a lot to be said, and everybody's words are heard, but I just wanted to say a couple things, and, you know, I chose to serve, to advocate for students. I recognize that some could not find their voice, or they couldn't use their voice. Everybody sitting around me knows that. We still believe every student, parent, guardian, and educator deserves to be seen, heard, and supported. You know what? All of us believe acceptance matters. Our differences don't divide us, they make us stronger. To the educators of 214 and the students, it's a simple thank you. You challenged and inspired me, and I will tell you, you left a lasting mark. To the board members I served with, couldn't ask for better collaboration and commitment. It's been an honor to serve beside you. Dr. Rowe, thank you for your steady leadership and always keeping students at center. I know you will continue to guide this district with vision and heart. To my family, especially my wife Karen, I got to thank her for her support and the time that she gave behind the scenes that made this possible. You know, I want everybody to know that this was not about recognition. This was not about anything with the family. The family, we have a good family unit. We still enjoy Sunday dinners, and we're lucky for that. And I know that some people do not have that luxury. So with this, I asked them purposely not to be here tonight because this is not about what we gave, it's about what we were given. So thank you guys. Joe, you're gonna step into this role, and I have a bit of simple advice. You know, you gotta stay curious, don't rush to judgment, ask questions, listen with humility, lead with compassion. I know you got this. I've served with you on NSSEO, and I'm happy that you're serving on the board here, and I know we're in good shape. So to everybody listening, it's truly been an honor to serve. This experience has left a lasting mark on me, so thank you to everybody. Joe, I got a swag bag for you.
Woo, swag bag.
Andrew.
You know, when Bill asked me about the Board of Education, I wasn't too familiar with the Board of Education. So I had to go do my research, get my data. And I called him over and I said, okay, I have a lot of questions. And as him and I talked, I came back to my experience as a student and was thankful for my experiences, from a very supportive family to outstanding teachers. I've talked about the math teachers time and time again, and I could rattle their names off, and I'm just so thankful for the teachers that I had. Growing up, I always appreciated thinking the most important thing you could do is challenge your students. And that was the mindset I was coming into the board with, thinking I can challenge, I can help, you know, raise it to an even higher level, knowing that it was at a high level. But the wisdom that I gained and the experience that I gained as being a board member, I learned there was something greater than challenge. And that's providing belief in someone. And everyone in every school that I have had the opportunity to work with, to share an experience with, I learned that when you believe in someone, their potential is limitless. This board believes in the administration believes in the admin at the schools, and I know our schools administrators believe in every staff member. And as a result, they believe in what they're doing, and they believe in their students. And that's what makes this district great, because our students show limitless potential. So thank you for teaching me such an important lesson. Vicki, I believe in you. I know that you have already done great things at prior districts as a mom, as a career professional. I believe in you, and you are going to do great. If I had a piece of advice, I would share the Japanese term gemba. And it means to go to the actual place where the work happens. So where the value is taking place. And I would encourage you to gemba everything and everyone. Because, from everyone's perspective, when they make a decision, they have the right answer. Because they may not have all the information. And when you gemba, you'll be able to see what information they have and what information you can bring. So I truly believe in you. I am so excited that you will have this opportunity to experience the great things in District 214. So thank you for running, and thank you for your commitment to District 214.
Okay, you can look now. No. Just something from the schools to get you started, and I want to thank all the schools for contributing to the swag bag for our new board members. New board members will be seated at the May 8th meeting, and that's when Lenny and Millie and Andrea's term will be up. There's still some things going on. We have salute to staff next week. We have the Autobahn, where our cars will be racing against one another, and the CLS over at Marriott. So still things to attend. But thank you, everybody. Now I need a motion into closed session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in an educational setting, or legal counsel for the public body. Motion in a second, please.
So move. Second.
I think we'll probably be in closed session for about 45 minutes, and we will have action afterwards. Call the roll, please.
Rauk.
Aye.
Palmer.
Aye.
Dessling.
Yes.
Fiorito.
Yes.
Heineman.
Aye.
Walker.
Yes.
And Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Oh, now we are, okay. Okay, we are now in an open session, and I need a motion and a second for 1311. Mr. Fiorito, please.
Transaction reports for April 24th, 2025.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Call the roll, please.
Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Dessling? Palmer?
Aye.
Rauch?
Aye.
Walker?
Yes.
And Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, motion and a second for 312. Lenny.
I motion to approve the job description under 13.12 for April 24th, 2025.
Second?
Discussion? Call the roll.
Walker?
Yes.
Rauch?
Aye.
Dessling? Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Palmer?
Aye.
And Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Motion and a second for 1313, please.
I move for approval of the administrators' agreement of April 24th, 2025.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Call the roll.
Palmer?
Aye.
Walker?
Yes.
Dessling? Yes. Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Rauch?
Aye.
And Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Motion and a second for 1314, please.
I move to approve the supervisor's agreement.
Millie.
Second.
Motion and a second, discussion. Please call the roll.
Rauch?
Aye.
Palmer?
Aye.
Dessling? Yes. Fiorito?
Yes.
Heineman?
Aye.
Walker?
Yes.
Kreutzer.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I think there was about 4 people.
Gonna second.
Second.
There we go.
Call the roll.
Rauch?
Aye.
Fiorito?
Aye.
Palmer?
Aye.
Walker?
Yes.
And Kreutzer.
Aye.
We have a quorum.
We are adjourned. Thank you.